Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning, 3rd of June. So our viewers online, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachariyam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribol Haribol Nitai Gaura Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki Shri Giri Govardhan ki Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Hari ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17, Text 36. The chapter is titled Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth, and it's the last verse in chapter 17. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jaye udhiraye nasta prayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir bhavate naistake. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Text 36, chapter 17. We'll say the word for word, then we'll recite the line. Do you have a copy that you can recite? Nunam janair ihitam ishvaranam asmadvidais tad gunasarga mayaya na kyayate mohita chitta vartmabhis tebyo namo vira yassas karebhya Numnam janair ihitam ishvaranam asmad vidayistat guna sarga mayaya nagyayate mohita chitavatmabhis Tebyo namo virayasaskarebhya Nunam janair ihitam ishvaranam Asmad vidayistad guna sarga mayaya Nagyayate mohita chittavatmabhi Tebyo namo virayasaskarebhya Nunam janair ihitam ishvaranam Asmad vidayistad guna sarga mayaya Nagyayate mohita chittavatmabhi Tebyo namo virayasaskarebhya Madhurya. Nunam janairitam ishvaranam Asmad vidayistad guna sarga mayaya Na gyayate mohita chitta vatmabhis Tebo namo viraya saskarebhya. You got it? Say. Nunam janairitam ishvaranam Asmad vidayistad guna sargamayaya Nagyayate mohita chittavatmabhis Tebhyo nama viraya saskarebhya. Nikunja, you had to say? Nunam janairitam ishvaranam Asmad vidayistad guna sargamayaya Nagyayate mohita chittavadmabhis Tebhyo namo virayasya skarebhya. Nunam, surely, Janai, by the people in general, Ihitam, activities, Ishvaranam, of the controllers, Asmat Vidahi, like me, Tat, of the personality of Godhead, Guna, of the modes of material nature, Sarga, which brings forth creation, Mayaya, by your energy, Na, never, Gyayate, are understood, Mohita, bewildered, Chitta, whose minds, Vartmabhi, way, Tebhya, unto them, Nama, obeisances, Virayasaha Karebhya, who bring renown to heroes themselves. The translation and the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood, what to speak of your pastimes. Thus everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. Purport. The activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His various forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. It is not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami has said that unless the Lord's activities are accepted as inconceivable, they cannot be explained. The Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Goloka Vrindavan. He has also simultaneously expanded Himself in innumerable forms, beginning with Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, Lord Varaha, and all the incarnations coming directly from Shankarshan. Shankarshan is the expansion of Baladev, and Baladev is the first manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all these incarnations are known as Kala. The word Ishvaranam refers to all the personalities of Godhead. as stated in Brahma Samhita. Ramadi Murtisho Kalaniyamena Tishtan. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that all the incarnations are partial incarnations or kala of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not take the plural number of the word Ishvaranam to mean there are many Godheads. The fact is that God is one, but He exists eternally and expands Himself in innumerable forms and acts in various ways. Sometimes the common man is bewildered by all this and considers such activities contradictory, but they are not contradictory. There is a great plan behind all the Lord's activities. For our understanding, it is sometimes said that the Lord is situated in the heart of the thief as well as in the heart of the householder. But the supersoul in the heart of the thief dictates, go and steal things from that particular house. And at the same time, the Lord tells the householder, now be careful of thieves and burglars. These instructions to different persons may appear contradictory. Yet we should know that the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead wholeheartedly, and being protected by Him, remain peaceful. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Monobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gauranghi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayati girim yat kripata maham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the translation, my dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies composed of the three modes of material nature. Consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. What to speak of your pastimes? Thus everything appears to us to be contradictory and wonderful. So, Mother Bhumi, Mata Prithvi, having been chased by King Prithu because she was not yielding the necessary resources for the human beings of this planet, having hidden the herbs and the grains and the seeds of the grains. King Prithu had become angry at her. As the chapter is titled, Maharaj Prithu becomes angry at the earth. And she, being chased by the king and realizing his relentless pursuit, that he would eventually kill her if she did not obey, she surrenders to King Prithu and begins to offer beautiful prayers to King Prithu. In the last few verses you read her prayers, her eulogizing, a glorification of the Lord, of King Prithu. And she surrenders to him. Her mood of surrender is detected in her prayers. So according to the Kshatriya code, even if an enemy surrenders to you, you have to protect. You cannot annihilate them. You cannot kill them. The previous verses discussed also how women, the vulnerable part of the human population, are meant to be protected by the rulers or by the husband, by the males. And there's some discussion around that there's an exception, that the King Prithu was exercising his authority despite her falling in that category of a woman, because she was not compliant, not obedient, and arrogant, which is and not subservient to the Supreme Lord, which is a category of deception and disobedience that could result in your being disposed of your life. But still she surrendered, and now we're coming to the last verse of this paragraph. My dear Lord, I am also the creation of one of your energies, composed of the three modes of material nature. So she is explaining her position, and by that also clarifying King Prithu's position. So we understand from this chapter, King Prithu is an incarnation of Vishnu, having appeared with all the symbols and the characteristics, etc. So he could be considered as the avatar of Krishna, of Vishnu, having occupied this position, having been called by the sages to relieve the humanity of its distress created by the nefarious King Vena. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His forms and incarnations are always uncommon and wonderful. And for us to try to understand this by our tiny, he says, for a tiny human being, which is also a tiny brain, we cannot estimate the purpose and plans of these activities. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that one should not try to understand this, the potency of the Supreme Lord, or even this philosophy, by the yardstick of their material intellect. So we try to apply our minds to try to analyze and so on for the sake of the class, and we try to research and we do that. But if we do not have the adhikar, we do not have the qualification, we do not have the surrender, we do not offer the prayers, my dear Lord, I'm so useless, my tiny brain, I can't understand this, you please help. We do not surrender to the spiritual master, asking for his blessings to please allow us to understand at least one iota of this for the sake of advancement in Krishna consciousness, not for the sake of presenting oneself as some big scholar and receiving some prestige. If we don't have that mood and that surrender, then it just remains an intellectual endeavor, which we see in so many scholars. And there's so many scholars who analyze the Vedas, but they haven't become devotees. In fact, they still conduct themselves in such degraded ways. So it's not possible for a tiny human being to estimate the purpose and plans of such activities. Therefore, we accept that the Lord's activities are inconceivable. This is a theme that's been running through. And in a previous purport, Srila Prabhupada emphasized the Chintya Veda Veda Tattva, a philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, simultaneously one and different, but inconceivable. So it seems a little contradictory. It is inconceivable, meaning we can't understand it. But if you do not apply or do not have your surrender, or if you have the surrender, then you will be access to understanding it. And that understanding brings you to the fact that it's inconceivable. Right? So I was having this discussion on Facebook with Jamuna Jivan Prabhu from Vrindavan. He posted something about that, how do you understand something so inconceivable? And people will speak of it as mythology, people would speak of it as being just some imagination. This great, how do you understand that? So we can understand the Lord's pastimes as being inconceivable, meaning that it cannot be understood by the limits of our mental faculties or intelligence. Accept it for that without categorizing it as being impossible. Right? The Brahmana or Narad Muni was told to tell the Brahmana and the cobbler that, what are you doing, Lord? I am busy threading the needle, right? The eye of a needle with an elephant. And the Brahmana, with all of his scholarship, refused to accept that. This is nonsense. But the cobbler, in his innocence, he accepted that idea. Yes, the Lord can do that. And Narad Muni said, aren't you curious, inquisitive? This is not possible. Or how do you? Well, there's a seed, banyan tree seed. And in this seed, there are many, many other trees, thousands of them. So if it's possible for many trees to be in this seed, then the Lord can be threading the eye of a needle with an elephant. So we have that degree of surrender. So the Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Mother Bhumi is explaining here in the purport that I am the creation of one of your energies composed of the three modes of material nature. So she is giving her position that I am being created by you. I am one of your energies. I am in the category of the external energy, Bahiranga. And hence, being composed of the three modes of material nature, when creation takes place, and Mahavishnu is glancing, agitating what becomes the Mahatattva, at that time, inherently, the three modes of material nature become present. It's part of the material nature. And these three modes cover the living entity. And therefore, under that impact or influence of the modes of material nature, we have different levels of activities, characteristics, and understanding. And as long as we're in the three modes, then it'll be difficult for us to understand the position of the Supreme Lord. So Mother Bhumi is saying, consequently, I am bewildered by your activities. Even those in the mode of goodness, Srila Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita that they are conditioned by their mode of goodness. They're conditioned by their sense of happiness. And therefore they will not easily take to the process of devotional service. So we see that, right? People come to a temple, and in the mode of goodness, they display particular characteristics in their demeanor. You can see they look effulgent, they're happy people, they're peaceful, but they've been conditioned to that mode. The sense of happiness derived from that. So it's difficult. It'll take a very powerful and potent devotee to impact them, to shift that position. So even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. What to speak of your pastimes? So Prithvi is saying that devotees themselves do not come under the three modes of material nature. The pure devotee is the Lord. They may be in this world, but they are not. They may externally display some activities that may look like they are under the impact of the material nature. We see in Srila Prabhupada's life, if you look at his life just as with an ordinary vision, then you'll see he was at university, he got married, he had a family, and he became a sannyasi, and that is it. That's like the trajectory of many people, but who practice spiritual life. In India, so many sannyasis are there, and they go. But as we study and as we come to understand Srila Prabhupada, we can see he's not under the impact of the material nature. In fact, some of his activities show that he actually manipulated the material nature, right? He was able to do things. When I first read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, I was I was left in wonderment when they left the estate, John Lennon's estate, and then he used to chant in a grove of trees. And then when they were leaving the estate, he stopped the car, right? Remember that? He jumped off and he went to those trees, and apparently from the devotees, he sort of spoke to them. And a few days later, a huge storm came and dropped all the trees. He liberated all those personalities that were entrapped in those trees. I was also reading another little anecdote, Srila Prabhupada's position. Somebody asked about, some devotee asked Srila Prabhupada if there are donkeys in the spiritual world. And Srila Prabhupada said, as far as I can remember, I didn't see any. Right, so we get these little, right? And I'm sure in time we'll come to know Srila Prabhupada's position, just like how we know about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta. Some will be established. But you do read, Srila Prabhupada says something about, I'm a cowherd boy, this and that, right? So you get these ideas. So even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. What to speak of your pastime? We can't even understand how a single old man created this worldwide movement. One person. Krishna Shakti Vinani Tara Pravratan. One cannot do this without being empowered by the Supreme Lord Himself. So, very important points being established. Even the activities of your devotees cannot be understood. What to speak of your pastimes? And we see that in Srila Prabhupada's disciples, empowered by Srila Prabhupada, that they are doing amazing things for Srila Prabhupada. The magnitude of their projects, the magnitude of people, or the amount of people they're attracting to Krishna, it cannot be understood in our normal terms. So in this purport, Bhumi Devi is establishing her position, and also in this humble way, she's appealing to the Lord that I'm under the impact. I'm composed of the three modes of material nature. I'm bewildered. So, you please forgive me. I'm seeking your protection. You please protect me. And then you'll see subsequently that she even gives the codes she gives the instructions to King Prithu how he can revive the earth planet and make it bountiful again, and Prithu becomes pleased. So she is surrendering. So this is our mood also when we approach the senior devotees, when we approach the Supreme Lord. We approach from a position that we really do not know anything. We are under the influence of the three modes of material nature, and by dint of my own material intelligence or mental kinds of faculties, I cannot understand. If you can please accept me, please help me. So in the purport, the position of the Supreme Lord is being discussed, and that Srila Prabhupada says the Supreme Lord is eternally existing as Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Goloka Vrindavan. And here we can understand from Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto also, this position is firmly established in Bhagavatam. The key verse that establishes the premise, Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishna astu Bhagavan swayam Indrari vyakulam lokam mriddayanti yuge yuge. That there are different categories. There are very many categories. There are the Kala, the Amsa, many categories of Krishna's expansions. But Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. So there's a whole technical discussion in Bhagavatam around Swayam Rupa, Tad Ek Atma Rupa, Vaibha Vilas, Vaibha Prakash. So many categories of Krishna's expansions, Krishna's direct expansions, and then the expansions of expansions, portions of portions. So there's so many categories, but from all of them, Braj Krishna is the original. So Krishna simultaneously expanded himself in innumerable forms, beginning with Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, Lord Varaha, and all the incarnations coming directly from Shankarshan. Shankarshan is the expansion of Baladev, and Baladev is the first manifestation of Krishna. Therefore, all these are incarnations known as Kala. So that category, Krishna expands as Balaram, and from Balaram comes the first Chatur Vyuha, Shankarshan, Anirudh, Pradumna, Vasudev. And then from that set, another set, Shankarshan, Pradumna, Anirudh, and Vasudev. And from the second set of Shankarshan, it comes Mahavishnu, that personality who lies down in the causal ocean. And it is explained that from each of the other Purusha avatars, they expand again in 3 times. So 24 incarnations in all come from them. But Mahavishnu is lying in the ocean. And the Vedas, the personified Vedas start praying. And they want to wake Mahavishnu up from his Nidra. And they pray to him. And hearing their prayers, he arises, and the errant souls are in his body, agitating. So he glances at his consort, Rama Devi. And from that glance becomes Shambhu. And the shadow of Rama Devi becomes Durga. And the first progeniting act in the universe takes place between the Shambhu and Durga, who is actually, that's why you see the Shaivites are worshipping the Shiva Ling, and the Linga is the progeniting organ, and the area around it is the chamber representing Durga, in which the union takes place. So in that way, living entities are injected into the material nature, and simultaneously the bubbles are coming out of the pores of Vishnu, very much like the bubbles in a soda, millions. And then this Karana Dakshaya Vishnu is also his name, because he's lying in the ocean of cause, Karana. And he expands himself into each of the universes as Garbha Dakshaya Vishnu. Lies down, well, firstly the universe, the bubbles are empty. So from the pores of Garbha Dakshaya Vishnu, perspiration emanates and half fills the bubble with his own perspiration and lies down, accompanied by the expansion of Shankarshan. Becomes Ananta Sesh. And the Lord is lying together with his consort, Lakshmi. So that is there where the lotus grows from the navel of the Lord, atop of which Lord Brahma appears in the darkness of the universe. Bewildered by that darkness, he goes down the stem of the lotus, trying to figure out what's this all about. Then as he's there, he hears the sound of water. Tapa, 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 tapa. Yeah, when water is lapping on the shore. And that sound was giving him the idea, tapas, 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 tapas. So he performs tapasya on the top. And then he hears the flute of Krishna. And the Gayatri mantra comes through the flute into the ear of Lord Brahma, enters his heart, and then he is empowered. So surrender. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should not take the plural number, Ishvaranam. So in this verse, Ishvaranam means all of the controllers. So referring to all the different categories of the controllers in the universe, as well as the expansions of the Lord. The fact that God is one, but he exists eternally and expands himself in innumerable forms. So for devotees, this is something we understand, something we have come to understand by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, through his books and the explanations by his ever-proficient devotees and spiritual masters. And those outside of Krishna consciousness, they have a poor fund of knowledge of this. They think that Krishna comes from Vishnu. In this 28th day of Lord Brahma, the original Krishna appears. But in the other yugas and so on, the Supreme Lord Krishna does appear through the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu in our universes. Sometimes the common man is bewildered by all this and considers such activities contradictory, but they are not contradictory. There's a great plan behind all the Lord's activities. For our understanding, it's sometimes said that the Lord is situated in the heart of the thief as well as the heart of the householder. But the supersoul in the heart of the thief dictates, go and steal things from that particular house, and at the same time the Lord tells the householder, now be careful of thieves and burglars. But we heard that the supersoul is neutral, is only a witness and a sanctioner. So is the supersoul really telling the thief, go and steal things? Is the supersoul telling the thief, go and steal things? What do you think? Sarupa? Sorry. Yeah. Right. So it's desire. So the desire is facilitated by the supersoul, regardless of whether you want to steal or whether you want to protect. The desire is facilitated. Therefore, the living entity, bewildered by the three modes of nature, thinks he is the doer, when it's actually the three modes of material nature, sanctioned by the supersoul. So you have the desire to steal. Then you may even go to attempt to steal. But there's another underlying law in place called karma. So you have the desire to steal and you go steal, but the police may come and catch you. So the karma law is also works in parallel. So inevitably, the desires of everyone are fulfilled by the Supreme Lord. Whether you want to steal or whether you want to protect, it will happen. So these instructions to different people appear contradictory. So we can see it appears contradictory, but we should know that Krishna has some plan and we should not consider such activities contradictory. So we can use that to understand. I think we're almost at time. We can try it, I'll finish with this point. We can use that to understand that there are things that happen in our contexts. Like we are seeing things happen in our Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we develop such beautiful plans and things seem to just blossom up in Krishna consciousness, and suddenly Maya steps in and there's some problem that deflates us or is an obstacle to our Krishna consciousness, and we're like thinking, oh my Lord, we're trying so hard, what happened here? How is it now, we're having some issues, sometimes it makes the newspapers and people are getting upset, and what's all this? So, these instructions appear contradictory, yet we should know the Supersoul, the Supreme Personality, has some plan, and we should not consider such activities contradictory. The best course is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead wholeheartedly, and being protected by Him remain peaceful. Tasmad ekena manasha Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi Shrotavya Kititavyascha Dhyeya Pujas Cha Nityada. Tasmad ekena manasha. Tasmad ekena manasha. One-pointed. Be one-pointed. With one-pointed devotion. Surrender. How? Shrotavya Kititavyascha. Chanting or remembering and chanting. Shrotavya Kititavyascha. Glorify. Dhyeya Pujascha Nityada. Remember, offer your worship, pujas, with one-pointed attention. Tasmad ekena manasha. Then what will happen? Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi. Sattvatam are the devotees. Patihi means protector. Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi. He will protect. So, we have to be one-pointed. Not narrow-minded. One-pointed. There's a difference. One-pointed means ever fixed. With full faith, the Supreme Lord will protect. Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi. So, this word Patihi means protector. So, we can see Bhumi, she surrendered. Her arrogance is gone. Her humility. She stopped running away from the Lord. And she surrendered to the Lord and begged that you please protect me, and everything, although seemingly contradictory, is actually very wonderful. Jai, stop there. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We also just want to offer a little prayer for so many people affected by this storm. We're speaking about the material nature, and we can see how ravaging this material nature is in a small way. We're getting some effects. Seems to be becoming more and more obvious to us. Nature is rearing an ugly head, which also is a spiritual principle behind that just like Mother Bhumi had retracted her bounty being impacted by negative evil leaders, so similarly also nature reacts when there's sinful leadership, and her impact will be felt more and more and more as long as those in charge do not surrender too. So we have a big duty as devotees to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books far and wide, prasadam, harinam, all over, so we can affect the consciousness of people positively. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Prasadam time. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Rukmini. She's in hospital.